were boring the pants off of them. They was fed up with the football they're playing, negative and just about getting beat and showing nothing. But now they're seeing the best and the worst. They just need to get maybe a grey area, don't they, really, Tottenham, and just maybe see things out. And the games that they should be winning, they're not going to do that, but they're winning ones, the unexpected ones. When you look at City at that given time, they went there and done what they done, even though they're maybe not getting what they want from it, because City have been quite poor after that as well. So they maybe caught City just at the right time, even though they've got a great record against them. But this game is a tough call. Everyone they talk about, everyone's going, because I'm involved in the predictions league thing, and people are not sure which way this is going to go, especially after Fulham getting beaten at home 4-1. But that was down to the fact they were down to 10 men when those goals were scored, because they suddenly made all their substitutions, and then I can't remember who it was who got injured and had to come off. So I wouldn't want to. Well, I already have had to call in this game, but it is a difficult one. It can go either way. And Fulham, on their day, the way they play, easy thing to say, but they can beat anyone, Fulham, to be perfectly honest, the way they play, the way Silva has got them playing now. While Tottenham, as we know, can match anybody given the right occasion.
Spurs are the top scorers in the Premier League, and they've got the second best defence in the Premier League, and yet they're 8th in the table.
See, now you're really confusing me now, Ben. I mean, and at the moment in time, they're not playing with their two main centre halves as such. I don't know if one of them's back today. I haven't looked at the Spurs game, to be perfectly honest. But they've been playing without their main two centre halves. So things have been going well for them. Davis has been playing now. I know that definitely, and the Romanian has been playing there. So.
Yeah, Radu Dragusin starts again, as does Ben Davies in this game.
That's right. So they haven't allegedly been at their strongest, but yet it's proven okay for them. It's working out well for them. I'm looking at this, and I wouldn't want to. Well, I'm just going to sit on the fence and say this could be a good draw. I wouldn't know which way to go, but it's a game that I think everyone would love to watch.
Let's go to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Aston Villa, another big game from the perspective of Chelsea. They can move to 25 points, level with second place Arsenal, whilst Aston Villa are looking to draw level with Chelsea with a victory and put themselves right back in the mix for Champions League football. At Stamford Bridge for us for this game is Rich Wolfenden. Team news from him in just a moment. First, the two managers, Unai Emery, and first, Enzo Maresca.
I really like to say, yes, we are there, but we are not there. Arsenal is ahead of us, City is ahead of us, Liverpool is showing that it's ahead of us. But the important thing is that we improve game after game, and then we see.
With the players they have, with the club the coaches as well, managing at the beginning of the season very well in different competition. And of course now they are in the table progressively getting better. Of course, they have 3 points in advantage of us. Sunday has been a very important match.
Aston Villa make the trip down to Chelsea this afternoon to Stamford Bridge, where the home side have made two changes. Pedro Neto and Jadon Sancho come into the attack. And the back line is a new-look back line. Cucurella, Colwill, Fofana, and in at right back is Moises Caicedo, we believe, this afternoon. All will become apparent very soon. Aston Villa, they make changes as well. Matty Cash comes in at full-back. Jadon Philogene joins the attack, and Boubacar Kamara comes into the midfield as Aston Villa look to end their three-game run without a win in the Premier League.
Thank you very much, Rich. So, Chelsea against Aston Villa, Spurs against Fulham, and Manchester United against Everton kick off here in 12 minutes' time. Paul Parker alongside me. Chelsea Villa, what to expect from this one?
Well, I mean, Villa had that moment where you just thought yourself they could be competing here to maybe get involved in the title race, and they hit that bad patch. Chelsea have just got better and better. And you look at Chelsea, and every time you look at who they're at, you think to yourself, that's a Chelsea win, just by the players they've got, the individual players they've got. In other words, Cole Palmer, he's the one that makes everything happen. They play in a way that everything said, get the ball to him, regardless of where he is, find him. Very much so how it was when I was at United with Eric Cantona. I was told by the boss, if Eric asks for the ball, you give it to him, doesn't matter where he is. And you have to respect your best players and you give them the ball. That's what they're there for, win your games. And that's what Chelsea do. And when you look at what they're doing now and the players they've got, they're competing. So really, at the moment, they're pushing on, and they could, as you mentioned, they could go second in the league.
It looks like with Reece James injured, Enzo Maresca is going to leave Enzo Fernandez in midfield and push Moises Caicedo to right back. How do you think he'll fare there?
He'll do a solid job. It's as simple as that. He's going to be okay. He'll be okay. He ain't going to go marauding forward. It wasn't his game anyway, but he'll be steady. It's as simple as that. He knows he's going to someone who's not really going to give the ball away. Will keep things pretty simple. Defensively, he'll be quite good, but he'll be doing it in a wide area. That'd be interesting. All his work in the wide area, working in a channel, how he's going to find that. Stepping into midfield, he'll find very, very easy, as most of them are stepping and going a little bit inverted. So he will find that quite easy. It'll be definitely a game to watch to see how they fare that way. But they need to find life without Reece James, because as we're looking now, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen for the lad. As he gets going, it suddenly stops.
Yeah, Reece James is out until at least the end of the year, although an exact return is not yet apparent due to the fact that he's still speaking to a specialist. And Chelsea have chosen Moises Caicedo over Malo Gusto, who's on the bench. So it's Caicedo on the right, Nicholas Jackson still leading the line, and Chelsea, of course, as a result, have still got their top goal scorer, Christopher Nkunku, on the bench. At what point does he start to get a little bit jittery at his lack of Premier League opportunities?
I don't know. They don't show their jitteriness anymore, do they? Something generally happens. But to be honest, I'm a little bit of a fan of Jackson. Nicholas Jackson is really, you look at him and you just, everything about him, but he's got those bits about him that you just love. He's a bit of a maverick in the way he plays, which is a rarity in our game now. We're losing those players now. Everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet 9 out of 10 times. While he's different, he goes on marauding runs. You think, of where's he going? And he'll do something ridiculous and then do something unbelievable. And I can understand why he is playing regular. Well, Nkunku, you've got someone there who has been tested, proven, but still not getting the opportunity because of the form of someone else.
So, Chelsea against Aston Villa at Stamford Bridge. Tottenham against Fulham at Craven Cottage. Late kickoff, Tom Rennie and Chris Perry. Liverpool against Manchester City. We'll talk about that one either at half-time or a little bit later once the team news comes in. And here at Old Trafford, 9 minutes to go until kickoff. Paul's former team, Manchester United, are hosting Everton, and Ruben Amorim is looking for his first win in the Premier League. Paul, I don't know whether you watched the Bodo Glimt game or saw the highlights, but what were your kind of takeaways from how Manchester United performed there?
Takeaway is that they got away with it. I have to say they got away with it. The first half wasn't good at all, and the longer that went on, you got more and more worried for them. But they got themselves back into it. They got a win, which was needed. They needed to win. They couldn't draw another game. They had to win. They've got that win. And now the main thing really is to get themselves through into the knockout stage of it. But he made a few changes. We saw Mason Mount come in, and he didn't do himself justice when he come in. To be honest, yes, he was involved in a goal, but didn't really do enough to warrant, in my opinion, to be pushing for a place at this moment.
Amorim seems to like Mount, though.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of talk that way, but I think sometimes when questions are thrown at you, being a new man on the block, you have to be careful how you say it. You've got to say the right things. You don't want to suddenly go out and be seemingly making decisions on players. You're going to say what everyone expects you to hear. So, but I can't see how Mason Mount fits, to be perfectly honest. I really, really can't see how he fits in the Manchester United team, regardless of formation or anything. I just don't see it.
Let us know what you think via @TalkSport Live. Paul, thanks for now. More from Paul Parker in just a moment. We're building up to kick off here at Old Trafford. In terms of the team news, in case you are late to join us, Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim makes 6 changes to the side that beat Bodo Glimt in the Europa League on Thursday. Joshua Zirkzee leads the line, or potentially Marcus Rashford and Zirkzee behind. We'll of course let you know when we get into commentary. Diego Dalot, Rashford, Amad Diallo and Casemiro are all also starters again, and Kobbie Mainoo is back from injury and in the starting 11, taking his place alongside Casemiro. Manchester United with Onana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, Diallo, Dalot, Casemiro, Mainoo, Fernandes, Rashford and Zirkzee. Everton boss Sean Dyche has sprung a surprise of his own. Striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin is dropped to the bench and Beto gets his opportunity to lead the line as the lone striker in one change from the 0-0 draw with Brentford. Captain Seamus Coleman is on the bench for Everton. So Everton line up with Pickford Young, Tarkowski, Branthwaite and Mikalenko, Doucouré, Gay, Lindstrom and Dye, McNeil and Beto. It is Manchester United against Everton, live from Old Trafford. The teams are in the tunnel at the moment. Manchester United in their home strip of red and white, and Everton also in their home kit, all in blue. A little bit of drizzle earlier, but it's fresh and breezy conditions and relatively dry, and kickoff is next on Premier League Live.
Previously on White and Jordan.
Good morning, my good friend. You're looking very healthy this morning. A bit more colour about the
I must have looked pretty shocking the rest of the week then.
Double trouble, daily drama and searing debate.
We're just going to do what we do.
Yes.
We're better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And here it is, the living proof of it.
Absolutely right.
Jim White and Simon Jordan.
He loves a showdown, a street fight.
Continues weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Hello, this is Álvaro Romeo. This is the podcast Universo Premier League. Let's go.
Pienso en Declan Rice, pienso en el tenor que tiene el Arsenal y el fútbol que despliega y me parecen que encajan perfecto.
Podemos decir del momento de Grealish, probablemente uno de los mejores defensores con balón.
El domingo en Wembley hablamos con Casemiro.
Quien me conoce sabe que voy por un balón como si fuera un plato de comida.
Joelinton nos atendió al final del partido.
Sí, muy triste, pero tiene que levantar la cabeza.
This season, don't forget to listen to the podcast Universo Premier League.
Reasons to like TalkSport. 1, 2, 3. A bit of Simon Jordan, the highest news from F1, the latest transfer deals done. Walks me.
Well, these were the swinging 70s, Anne.
Tony Cascarino, a trip to the casino, a pint of cappuccino. Alan Brazil.
Just brilliant.
Adrian Durham, come here if you want some. We'll bloom and take you all on. TalkSport's got skills. Don't be a blockhead. Listen to TalkSport on DAB Digital Radio 1089 and 1053 AM, on the app and on your smart speaker. TalkSport.
The World in 10 podcast is your essential 10-minute daily roundup of all the biggest stories from across the globe.
I'm Alex Dibble from The Times. On the World in 10 podcast, me and my team sit down and go through it all in just 10 minutes.
Hear eyewitness accounts, insightful interviews and expert correspondent analysis.
I was actually on the orthopaedic ward. Almost all the injuries are shell fire.
10 minutes to stay on top of the world. Subscribe for free now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or your preferred podcast provider.
TalkSport Drive. Weekday afternoons from 4 on TalkSport.
TalkSport Drive with me, Darren Bent.
And me, Andy Goldstein.
All-terrain sports radio for a power-hungry nation.
The national radio show with a bootload of sport.
Unrivaled, opinionated comment from the biggest names in sport and Andy Goldstein.
Mirror, signal, move over for TalkSport Drive.
With Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. Weekday afternoons from 4 on TalkSport. The fastest football on the way home.
Listen to your choice of Premier League matches this season on TalkSport.com.
To raise the trophy, there it is!
If you're outside the UK, head to the fixtures page of our website and every game will be live.
The team on top are Manchester City.
Don't miss a single kick of the Premier League season with TalkSport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester United against Everton. Old Trafford is the destination. Ben Jacobs and Paul Parker. And this is Premier League Live. We'll keep you posted across Chelsea, Villa and Spurs, Fulham. But the teams are out here at Old Trafford. Manchester United, 6 changes from their Europa League win over Bodo Glimt, including Joshua Zirkzee with a start and Kobbie Mainoo back from injury. And Everton boss Sean Dyche has chosen Beto ahead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Kickoff is just 90 seconds away. There was actually a protest in the build-up to this game by Manchester United fans over ticket prices. And remember, they may change again if Manchester United get a brand new stadium in the coming years. But for now, the focus is on football, and there is a feel-good factor inside Old Trafford. This is Ruben Amorim's first home Premier League game, and he's looking for his first victory in the league after beating Bodo Glimt midweek. All the full team news coming very shortly. Our referee is John Brooks, fourth official Simon Hooper, VAR Andy Madley. And remember, if you'd like to get in touch, you can do that via @TalkSport Live. Do send us your name and a photo of what you're up to on this Sunday afternoon or morning. It looks like the teams are going to switch sides. That is after Everton won the coin toss. Paul Parker alongside me. Do you buy into this whole switch side? You don't see it that often, but they have just switched ends on Everton's request.
Oh, there's a little bit of superstition comes into it always. I mean, United have always had this thing about kicking to the Stretford end in the second half. And there's some people, it does get in your head sometimes about things, but there's always that with a bit of wind or something, or the wind's going to change, so you flip round to make sure that you allegedly get the advantage of both sides. So, yes, I can see why people do it, and we're looking here at this moment, and United are kicking towards the Stretford end in the first half.
Manchester United have been flipped. They are kicking from left to right. Everton all in blue. And we are about to get underway here. The conditions are dry after some light rain earlier. And the other two games also underway now. Chelsea, Aston Villa and Fulham are travelling to Tottenham Hotspur. Manchester United get us underway. Bruno Fernandes with a touch all the way back into defence. Matthias de Ligt now has it at the back. Manchester United have got a really good record against Everton, but their tally of 16 points equals their lowest total after 12 Premier League games. But they have won 41 Premier League games against Everton, the highest tally of any side in the competition against a single opponent. De Ligt has it at the back, works up to the halfway line and goes out to the left-hand side. Lisandro Martinez, another player that Manchester United will be delighted, Paul, to have back.
Yes, without a doubt. It does make a big difference.
The Argentine goes square to De Ligt. Manchester United just controlling the possession, but they haven't got it into the Everton half yet. We've played a minute so far. And Manchester United have had all of the touches. Everton dropping deep, not really pressing at the moment. Dwight McNeil and Beto, the furthest players forwards. Martinez has it again on the left-hand side. He looked for a diagonal, but forced back on this occasion. Jesper Lindstrom was able to just narrow the angle. And still Manchester United have it inside their own half. Mazraoui.
We have to say, Everton are definitely one of those sides that you really want to go and score the first goal as early as possible, just so they have to change their plan. While it's like this moment, they're so good at playing this way. It's so Sean Dyche-like.
Bruno Fernandes burraging forwards and then just kind of toe-poked it onto Dalot, but it was a little bit too far ahead of him. Everton half clear. Casemiro picks it up for his first touch. And again, Manchester United go backwards. Nothing too risky in terms of Manchester United passes so far. Very controlled and patient. Sweeping ball out to Dalot on the left-hand side. And he's got room here to cross a 6-yard area. That was a really good ball too. But in the way was Jared Branthwaite, and he has to concede the corner.
The thing about it is, Branthwaite, he's actually called for that. Tarkowski was in front of him. He's called it to pull it out, because I saw Tarkowski put his thumbs up to him as well. I mean, that was brave. Tarkowski leaving that just in front of his own goal. That tells you how these two work together.
Yeah, it was a really good ball in, but if we're being hyper-critical against Manchester United, nobody really took a risk inside the 6-yard area, which is probably why Branthwaite felt he could make that call.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they just haven't got a poacher as such.
Zirkzee to Dalot, who's been involved so far. Casemiro, nice little touch. 1-2 with Mainoo, and then Casemiro tried to slide in, didn't get there, but it'll fall to Kobbie Mainoo, who tries a shot, and it was relatively fierce. And luckily for Jordan Pickford, he was able to parry it, take the sting out the ball, and gather it, because Zirkzee was lurking.
Well, that was just a little bit intricate there for Manchester United. Little passes round the edge of the D. In the end, Mainu gets his shot off, and I'm surprised that he took the shot. I'm glad he did take the shot on, because it was there in front of him to go and take it on. It was a clean strike straight at Pickford, though. Even though it kind of bounced out of his hands, he was always behind it.
Ruben Amorim won all 22 of his home league games in charge of Sporting last season by an aggregate score of 72-13. So making Old Trafford a fortress will be top of the agenda on the field. But Everton have the ball at the moment through Beto. He runs down the right-hand side and Lisandro Martinez concedes the throw-in. I'll run through the teams for you when we get a break in play in just a moment. It's still 0-0 in the other games as well, Spurs, Fulham and Chelsea, Villa. And a reminder once again, Liverpool-Man City is our late kick-off. It is at 4 o'clock UK, as Dalot is able to intercept the Everton throw-in and go back to Onana. And again, Manchester United just slowing things down. This back three are getting used to each other and playing in this 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1 formation, whichever way you want to look at it. It's Onana, Mazraoui, De Ligt and Martinez, Diallo, Casemiro, Maino and Diego Dalot, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford and Xerxes. And here is Marcus Rashford peeling away down the right-hand side. Amad Diallo was maybe a little bit selfish. He had the ball on the right-hand side and he cut in field. Rashford had made himself an outlay to the right of him. And now at the other end, here come Everton in space. It's Dwight McNeil surging forwards in acres of space all the way into the area. And he kind of didn't know what to do with it, and eventually Casemiro tracks back and takes the ball off him.
I'm really surprised at Dwight McNeil there. He's one of the better players you wouldn't want on the ball in and around that area. I mean, it was given away by Martinez very, very cheaply and falls to McNeil, and he just goes and goes in the end. You think so if he's got Casemiro here just in front of him, Casemiro just sticks that toe and nicks it off of him far too easily, and like you just said, maybe got caught in two minds on what to do next.
Acres and acres of space, ran about 15 yards into the area. Casemiro with the interception. As for Everton, they are Pickford, Young, Tarkowski, Branthwaite and Mikalenko, Decore and Gay, Lindstrom, McNeil, who should be a more central player but is operating at the moment floating away to the right-hand side, and Dye, who we've barely seen, and Beto. Here's a ball forwards to Beto, but he's offside. De Ligt stepped out. And Manchester United with the high line able to catch Everton out. 5.5 minutes gone, 0-0. Manchester United with 65% of the possession, but it is relatively even so far as Ruben Amorim looks for his first win in the Premier League after opening away at Ipswich with a draw. And a trend, Paul, I suppose, has been bucked, or we can almost say it's been bucked, because against Bodo Glimt and Ipswich, Manchester United scored within about 2 minutes in both of those games. It's 6 minutes and they don't have a goal.
No, but in the moment they're playing better than what they have done really in those two games. The way they're shifting the ball around, they're definitely getting forward quicker. And at the moment, the link-up with Xerxes is actually better than what it has been in the previous two games of when they had Garnacho in that role.
0-0 at Old Trafford, 6 minutes gone. Ben Jacobs and Paul Parker with you. And still stalemates in the other two games as well. Chelsea Villa and Tottenham Fulham. De Ligt Hazard at the back for Manchester United. We've said that quite a lot so far. Kobbie Mainoo under a little bit of pressure. And Dye and also McNeil closing him down, but he gets it away to the left-hand side. Lisandro Martinez over the halfway line. That's a perfect ball to Dalot, whose time does run well. Sliding challenge, though, comes in. Branthwaite again, right place, right time. It was a superb ball over the top, but Branthwaite able to slide in and concede the corner, stopping Dalot, putting it across the 6-yard area.
Well, he got the good fortune there, Branthwaite, because of Dalot's first touch as that ball bounces off his right foot. He takes it with the sole of his foot. For me, he pushes the ball out and straight away allow Branthwaite to come and make that slide where he could have been getting shot off or just trying to put it on the outside of his foot to Rashford, who was coming in the far post.
Manchester United corner, Bruno Fernandes to take it. Xerxes at the near post, whipped in by the Portuguese midfielder, half cleared to the edge of the area, and that's a rasping effort by Diallo. He hit it very well, but there were just too many players in the way, and it's blocked as a consequence. Everton come on the counter-attack now, and here is Ndai down the left-hand side. Beto is in the centre. It's a decent ball to the near post. Beto controls it inside the area, turns, but Martinez read it well and is able to step in front of him and half clear, and then it spins out to that right-hand side where Ndai tried to bring it down first time, but he can only miscontrol it out for a Manchester United throw-in.
Well, just at this moment, United have been quite threatening sometimes, but the Warriors is always on the counter. That is the problem. We've just seen there the Amad Diallo volley. It was a wonderful volley, wasn't it? For me, it looked like it was on target. But the ball comes back from there, and they, on the verge of conceding now, just need the back three just to be a little bit on their guard on the counters.
There's been an early goal at Stamford Bridge. We will be there very shortly. That's the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa, and it's the only goal so far. Fulham away at Spurs is still 0-0. At TalkSport Live, if you'd like a shout out, do tell us what you're up to, please, on this Sunday morning or afternoon. Everton look quite dangerous on the counter-attack. Manchester United controlling the possession and getting some joy in particular down the left-hand side with Dalot. Xerxes dropping deep, but he loses out here, and the ball will just ricochet to Lindstrom, who's going to have a crack from about 30 yards. It was always a little bit ambitious. It's a shot on target, but it wasn't hit with any power, and it's straight at Onana.
Again, that was just the ball, just comes back. It's another counter from Everton. Lindstrom takes it on early. I think his teammates look around, maybe could have got the pass in, but they can't complain. He's hit the target.
Almost 10 minutes gone. Sean Dyche will be relatively pleased with this positive Everton start. Manchester United will feel like they have the ability to unlock Everton, so it is quite even so far as Marcus Rashford just kind of pokes the ball straight up in the air. It wasn't the best of touches. Manchester United, at least for now, keep possession, but then the intrepid Ndai is able to use good strength to go around a couple of players. Eventually he knocks it too far in front of him, and Manchester United will guide it back to Onana.
Yeah, there's a little bit of concern over there, Ndai. He's definitely a talent.
And it's getting quite scrappy in the centre of the park, which will suit Everton, who are winning some of the 50-50s. But Manchester United, when they change the direction or they go long, are getting more joy. And that's a lovely diagonal ball to Amad Diallo, who helps it on to Rashford, who's up against Branthwaite. And Rashford tried to kind of cross-shot to take Pickford by surprise, and it wasn't quite executed as he would have hoped, and it's over the bar for a goal kick.
I think that was a little bit of a waste there. If he didn't feel he could get the crossing, he's tried to shoot from there. I mean, that was just, in my opinion, madness what he's tried there. I should have been questioned about that.
Let's quickly go to Stamford Bridge. The deadlock has been broken in the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa. Commentator Rich Wolfenden.
Lavia tries to recycle it. Torres is there. And a heavy touch from Philogene as Cucurella wins it back strongly. He's in the penalty area. It's across the face of goal. Saved onto the post and in. Chelsea with the first attempt of the game. And they score from it. And it's the man who
Everton
just has gone up another level this year. Nicholas Jackson.
Thank you, Rich. Everton had just tried a little snapshot there as they worked the ball into the box, but it was slightly mishit over to the left-hand side by Beto. It all came from a Dalot slip. It was won by Decore, who then helped it on to Beto, but he fluffed his lines, Paul, from a very promising position.
He was. He's gone to take the plastic off the ball. He could have just tried to pass it with his weaker foot, decided to go with power, and from being, 10, 12 yards away from goal, he puts the ball about 10 yards wide.
So Nicholas Jackson has scored again for Chelsea. That's the only goal so far in these 130 games. It's his 8th goal in 13 Premier League games. A player you said, Paul, that you liked a lot in the build-up to that game.
Yeah, he's just got something about him. I can understand why the manager's playing him so often, and I'm sure that his teammates absolutely love him because he never stops working.
12 minutes gone, so it's Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0. And Everton are starting to get a foothold in this game. McNeil, though, gives the ball away. Lisandro Martinez is able to make the interception. De Ligt goes back to Onana. I'm not sure the Manchester United goalkeeper really wanted that. And then he slices it out to Dalot. Difficult for him to control. And Dalot maybe should have just let that go out, because in trying to control it, he's put his team in a little bit of trouble here. Although eventually Lindstrom can't quite get to the byline. And Dalot will find Casemiro, who is fouled by Decore. One of those, Paul, where you're kind of slipping to the ground, but you've got enough experience to sell it.
Oh, he did as well. Someone pulled a rug from underneath his feet there. It's like being on a conveyor belt and it suddenly stops. He did. He bought that foul as well to get him out of trouble. I do not know why. Sometimes there's nothing wrong in clearing your lines. Everyone wants to play pretty football out of tight situations. Fans aren't going to abuse you if you just clear your lines if they see you're in trouble.
13 minutes gone. Manchester United now coming forwards. Joshua Zirkzee on the edge of the area. He's got space to the right-hand side. It's a superb pass to Amad Diallo, who can't guide it into the left-hand corner. He had the angle, he had the time, but he didn't have the composure. Zirkzee with tremendous vision, but Diallo can't finish it off.
I mean, it was absolutely... What he's done is He's just used Rashford as his decoy. He makes a run towards the near post. Diallo's coming in behind, and 9 times out of 10 you just know he's going to hit the target there, and he just caught it wrong. Perfectly weighted path to him, and he just caught it wrong.
Goal kick to Everton. Pickford to take it, launches it over the halfway line. De Ligt wins the header, brought down in central midfield by Everton though. And again, the visitors will build. Everton are coming off the back of a 0-0 draw, a disappointing one against Brentford because Brentford were down to 10 men in that game. And now the fixtures come thick and fast for both of these teams. Everton have got Wolves and then a home Merseyside derby against Liverpool before going away at Arsenal and then home to Chelsea and then away at Manchester City, and a horrible run-in, which when you add this game to, shows you how difficult the pre-festive period is going to be for the visitors. But they've managed to win themselves a corner here as Diaye had just switched sides and had received the ball on the edge of the area after a short diagonal pass from Lindstrom, and he just turned away from Dalot inside the area and played it against the thigh of Mainu, and Everton have a corner. 15 minutes gone. Everton with 4 players at the back post, including Branthwaite, who's about 2 yards wide of the 6-yard area, level with it, but in a very wide position, and presumably is going to step in field with a bit of movement when the delivery comes in. In it comes now towards the near post. It's poor. Everyone was at the far post, and Manchester United able to head it half clear. Second opportunity for McNeil to deliver. Again, it's half cleared by Manchester United, and then it's wasted by Lindstrom, and now Amad will come away with it on the counter-attack. Mazraoui looking for options, doesn't really have any, has to check back, and then Ndiaye gets in the way, but is going to be penalised for a foul.
Yeah, they're just getting themselves in a few tight areas, and Everton are really closing down really tight, and they're going as a group as well, and they're bouncing off of that and taking them towards goal at the moment. And that's the only concern for Manchester United. When they have the ball, sometimes they're a danger to themselves.
Everton on 12 points if they get a draw here, 11 coming into the day, so 2 points above the relegation zone. But with that horrid run of fixtures coming up, it is going to be important that when they do have positive performances, and they have started relatively well here, they can convert them into points, because it's not going to be easy for Sean Dyche's side heading into the December period. Manchester United have the ball now at the back. Martinez. Everton's shape is matching up well to this 3-4-3. Casemiro took a bit of a risk there, but is able to guide it back after kind of dummying the ball, which deceived McNeil, and it finds Mainu. Mazraoui chips one forwards. It's a lovely weighted ball. Amad Diallo. Pickford comes out, and Diallo kind of did the right thing and cut it back, but there was no one on the edge of the area.
Yeah, he couldn't do any more than what he'd done there, Diallo. He had to go that. It's the only way he could have done it. Pickford's gone there, but most goalkeepers would have gone down. He stayed on his feet, so he made it difficult for Diallo there to what he's going to do next. Didn't sell himself at all. He just made Diallo have to make a difficult choice what he's going to do next. And he makes a choice, pulls it back to the centre of the D, and there's no one coming in that area.
We've seen it on both sides, haven't we? It's quite a high Everton line, and Manchester United have had their most joy when either Dalot or Amad get forwards and they play a sort of chipped or long ball down one of the flanks.
Yeah, that's where it's coming from. It is the wide areas where, in a moment, where United have got to take advantage of this Everton defence, because we have to say on this near side to us, I don't think Ashley Young is renowned as an athlete now, is he really, in that sense? And we've seen Dalot get a lot of joy, and it's in that area because Ashley Young is struggling for the pace.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Ashley Young so far. Everton's most lively or involved players have been Branthwaite at the back and then Ndiaye. Beto's done okay, had a couple of sniffs at goal, sliced one wide from inside the area. That was probably his heaviest involvement so far. And with 17 minutes gone, it's Manchester United 0, Everton 0. And here come Everton just over the halfway line. Decore with a diagonal ball to Lindstrom, who's up against Dalot. That's been a very even battle so far. Everton, though, give it away, trying to play intricately on the edge of the area, but then Bruno Fernandes hands it straight back. And here's Ashley Young. Short ball to McNeil. Decore on the right-hand side. Everton are 35 yards from goal. Now it's in field with Guy. Idrissa Guy to Young, looking for options. Manchester United a bit static. It's only Casemiro pressing at the moment. Now Xerxes is edging forwards. But it's all quite comfortable for Everton as they find some space on the right-hand side. McNeil, backwards he goes to Guy again. And then a poor diagonal ball, but Amad Diallo takes a heavy first touch and Everton win it straight back again. Guy, 30 yards from goal. That's not the best ball. Mainu comes away with it. Now Manchester United might be able to build something. Bruno Fernandes didn't really have a pass available, so it goes infield instead to Xerxes. Now Fernandes outside the boot. That's a lovely ball. Rashford against Pickford. Rashford gets there first. Pickford did just enough, and now the offside flag goes up.
I mean, it was a lovely ball to Marcus Rashford, but he'd run offside. I saw it quite early. Just a shame, really, that they have to keep it going for so long. So I always worry about players getting hurt after. He definitely went too early. I could see that Everton defence knew it as well, but you've got to go through the process.
Pickford did well to get just enough as Rashford tried to dink it over him, and then Branthwaite would have made the clearance, but the flag was up, so it will be Everton ball. And with 20 minutes gone, Manchester United 0, Everton 0. Pickford goes long down the right-hand side. Beto won't be able to control that. Manchester United hack it back to midfield. And then they don't bring it down effectively through Rashford.
Well, that's the problem when you've got Marcus Rashford just centre forward. He's not very good with his back to play. A simple pass back, and he doesn't. He puts it in the air. Xerxes is under pressure. They lose possession just over the halfway line again.
McNeil feeds it forwards to Beto. He's going to get there first. He's going to get there ahead of Onana. Had the angle and couldn't quite squeeze it in. He went round the goalkeeper. Two defenders got back. It was a big ask, and very nearly Beto squeezed it in at the near post, but instead he finds the side netting and it stays at 0-0.
Well, that's the difference between him and Calvert-Lewin, to be perfectly honest. He's got that pace and that strength to go on. I just wonder if Onana causes a problem here for De Ligt by coming out, and if he just stays in his goal and allows De Ligt just to cut the angle, I don't think he takes a shot. He forces him away to the corner flag. Onana caused a bigger problem.
De Ligt did well, though, to close down the angle after Beto had rounded Onana, and that made it very difficult to squeeze it in at the near post. But it's a second opportunity for Beto, and you could make an argument that Everton are having their best spell of the game now so far. They've weathered the first sort of 5-7 minutes where Manchester United had all of the possession, and they're now pinging it around with a lot more confidence and consistency than Manchester United are. And it is Everton who have the ball in central midfield. Branthwaite, McNeil, infield it goes. Opportunity for Ndiaye. McNeil again, not the best ball. Beto was at the near post. And at the far post was Lindstrom, but it's too close to Onana. He gathers and bowls it out to Casemiro, but too far in front of him. Casemiro has to slide in to make contact, and he gives it straight back to Everton. And now for the first time, the Manchester United home fans are getting a bit frustrated.
Well, they are, because they're giving the Manchester United are giving the ball away very cheaply. Onana's tried to keep the play going. He throws the ball out, rolls it straight out to Casemiro to run onto it, but he bowls it out too hard for him. He's had to slide, and that's to try and pass while he's sliding to Xerxes, and he goes offline, and they straight away they lose possession. Everton come back on, I should say, and straight away get another attack. They just need to take the pressure off by not reacting and getting caught up in a frenzy. That's the problem. But then on the other side of it, they still have to move the ball quicker than what they are at the moment.
22 minutes gone, Manchester United 0, Everton 0. It is Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0. And it is 0-0 in the game between Spurs and Fulham. Hello to Brandon, who's been in contact via @TalkSport Live. He says, love the commentaries as per usual. It's 29 in Atlanta right now. But you know what's cooler than Atlanta and Cole Palmer? My Arsenal 5-2 success yesterday, and we've got our first dog picture, Paul, as well, of the day. More dogs the better. Dogs, pets, kids, brunches is what we love here at TalkSport Live. If you'd like a shout out, as Branthwaite hot-foots into midfield and is caught by Xerxes. Free kick to Everton on the halfway line. Taken backwards to Decore, who will cross over the halfway line, but then Everton go backwards to Gay. Still in that centre circle at the moment. McNeil is to the right, and Everton will work it out to that right-hand side, but it's Lindstrom who was hugging the touchline. Now he's about 5 yards in field, crosses into the 6-yard area. Not a bad ball, but Onana will gather. Beto didn't take a gamble at the near post, so it was quite comfortable for Onana to gather.
Again, that was Dallo allowing the ball him to get across him far too easy. He's got to stop the cross. I mean, he's done well, Onana, but I mean, if you had a forward of any sort, he would have got looking to get across the front of the goalkeeper and maybe just getting any kind of touch.
0-0 here, Manchester United against Everton. And an oddity, by the way, at Stamford Bridge that I've just noted on one of our other screens. It looks like a pass-back free kick, to the point where Chelsea will have a free kick inside the penalty area, an indirect one, and Villa have got a wall at the moment, all on their own line. So we'll keep you posted whether that comes to anything or not. It was Pau Torres passing it back to Emi Martinez. So Chelsea basically have got a free kick that's actually closer than the penalty spot. And Villa have got a wall of about 8 players on their own line.
It's been so long since I've seen this. It's a very difficult one. You have to try and go as high as, I don't know, just go high.
Just smash it as hard as you possibly can, but the entire Villa team are basically on their own line. So we'll let you know if anything comes of this. It's 1-0 to Chelsea. Commentator there is Rich Wolfenden. 25 minutes here gone at Old Trafford, and you haven't missed anything whilst we've just glanced over to that anomaly. Kobbie Mainoo has the ball for Manchester United on the halfway line. Goes back to De Ligt. Martinez, as ever, to the left-hand side. Beto is pressing. Mainoo. And now out to the right-hand side. Mazraoui, who perhaps could get a bit more involved. And luckily for Villa, they've survived a scare, as there were just too many players to block Chelsea's effort. But I don't think I've seen a free kick like that in maybe 5, if not 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a long, long time. When you were saying it to me, I thought, what are you on about? And once I actually saw it, I understood what you meant.
It used to happen quite a bit when they changed the pass-back rule, and people got a bit confused or forgot, and it was second nature. But now goalkeepers, they're all just ingrained, aren't they, to not pick it up. Anyway, back here at Old Trafford, 25 minutes gone. TalkSport Live, Ben Jacobson, Paul Palmer. Manchester United still have the ball at the back. Now they work it out the left-hand side, and Dallo. Ashley Young slides in and gets a bit of the ball. Manchester United will keep possession. The Argentine Martinez to Bruno Fernandes, the Manchester United captain. Now De Ligt, who joined from Bayern Munich. Mainoo. Casemiro helps it on neatly to Bruno Fernandes. Intricate play by Manchester United. Fernandes out to Dallo, left-hand side, across the 6-yard area. Overcooked it a little bit, and Dallo can't get his foot to it. And now Ndiaye comes away with it. Mazraoui pulled him a little bit. The referee, I don't think, spotted it. Everton still have the ball, and they've got an opportunity here, and that was a golden chance. Beto was out to the right-hand side. Instead, Everton decided to go left, and Ndiaye couldn't quite find the overlap and a teammate, and Manchester United maybe get away with one there.
They did get away. That was a bad decision there, and Ndiaye made the wrong decision. The pass was through the middle without a doubt, and he's decided to go to his left. And that's come about again. It's gone to Dallo in a great area near the byline. Not being a natural left foot, he's just gone and tried to, he thumped it as hard as he could with his weaker foot, and he nearly goes out for a throw-in, and it causes a counter-attack.
At TalkSport Live, if you'd like a shout-out, it's 0-0 here, Manchester United against Everton. Chances for Manchester United, anyway, few and far between. They've got into dangerous areas, but no significant end product yet. And Everton, through Beto, have had 2 chances. One in particular where he rounded Onana, but De Ligt narrowed the angle and he found the side netting. And another where he just sliced the ball wide, but from quite a dangerous position. Nicholas Jackson's goal is the difference between Chelsea and Aston Villa in the game at Stamford Bridge. And it is still 0-0 between Fulham and Tottenham. Tottenham, the host there at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Stalemate here, and Everton will be the happier of the 2 sides as Beto wins the ball in central midfield from a deep position, goes back to Branthwaite, and Dye was calling for it. Instead it goes to Beto. That was always a tough ask for him. De Ligt slides in. Everton will regain possession once again with Mikalenko up to McNeil, and McNeil and Beto combine well, and McNeil will take it towards the corner flag. Good strength to get away from Mazraoui. Cuts it back to Ndiaye, who chose to go alone, and Bruno Fernandes was in the way. And Fernandes carries it all the way up to the halfway line and over the halfway line. He's ran about 20 yards here, Bruno Fernandes. Everton have got plenty of players back though. Short ball, Diallo to Rashford. Rashford sets himself to cross and undercooks it. And Tarkowski clears. Paul Parker groans.
Well, it's just, at the moment in time, Everton have grown into the game, really growing into the game. They look the better team when they've got possession of the ball. It's only their decision making when they get in that final third that has cost them, really. That's what it's been about. United have lost their way. We've seen already Fernandes, every time he gets tackled he wants a foul, and he's more concerned at looking at the referee rather than going to look for the ball. It was just lost that edge with the way they started the game. You thought to yourself, oh, they're looking control. They're not getting Mainu on the ball to calm things down. He looks a little bit out of sorts at the moment, Mainu. Casemiro now is getting frustrated because they're not shifting the ball quick enough.
Sean Dyche out in the technical area wearing a training top, looking relatively calm, barking a few orders. Haven't seen too much of Ruben Amorim in terms of animation yet. And Manchester United with some defending to do as Everton launch a long ball forwards. Doucouré is going to be penalised though for fouling Casemiro, so Manchester United will have a free kick deep inside their own half. He doesn't agree with it. Another one where Casemiro only had to feel a little bit of contact to fall to the deck.
There was a time where anyone who tried to pull you wouldn't fall over. You wouldn't let them know, give them the opportunity to say they pulled you over. But now it seems part and parcel of the game.
Half an hour gone here. We should point out that both of the captains have got rainbow laces armbands on as well to support the December campaign for inclusivity, and also many of the teams, including both of these, having LGBTQ plus supporters groups as well. So rainbow laces, which involves the captain's armband, players with the option to wear rainbow coloured laces, and in addition to that, various branding around the stadium as well. And Bruno Fernandes, the captain of Manchester United, and James Tarkowski, Everton's skipper, both have those rainbow armbands on as well. 30 minutes gone. Manchester United 0, Everton 0. Still Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0, and Spurs 0, Fulham 0. And Everton have it at the back with Ashley Young. Chips one down the right-hand side to McNeil. It looked well weighted originally, but Martinez will get there and nod it out of play. Everton throw in near right-hand side. And it will be taken quickly by Lindstrom to Ashley Young, but in fact he's just kind of half taken it, but bounced it on the ground, and then Young has picked it up. So it will be a sort of second take throw-in. You have seen those given a handball before in the past. Yeah. Young takes the throw-in back to McNeil. Lindstrom checking his run because he was offside. Now he receives it on the right-hand side, works it back into McNeil, but it wasn't the best pass. Casemiro comes away with it, up to Xerxes, who miscontrols it. Poor touch by Xerxes, and Everton win it back in central midfield.
Just have to say again, with Manchester United, it's just that final third. They're just very, very poor again. The ball's bouncing off of Xerxes and Rashford.
Casemiro now deep inside his own half. That's a better ball out to Rashford, who's moved over to the left-hand side. He's got ahead of McNeil. Tarkowski comes over, plays it against the shins of Tarkowski. Manchester United corner.
He's just making good of something out of really nothing there. Ball comes on a halfway line to Marcus Rashford. Straight away he's running, just trying to get as close to the byline as possible. Tarkowski comes across, takes it off his toe, but the actual just bounces off of him and goes out for the goal kick. Marcus Rashford had nowhere to go there, really.
After this, Manchester United go away at Arsenal, then home to Nottingham Forest, and then they've got Victoria Pleasant in the Europa League. That's their 6th game of 8. United's second corner of the game, near left-hand side. Bruno Fernandes to deliver. It's off the training ground. It's chipped into Rashford. It takes a deflection and it finds its way into the back of the net, likely off Jared Branthwaite. And Manchester United have the lead. Corner kick off the training ground, chipped to the edge of the area. In came the volley. It's come off Jared Branthwaite, and Manchester United have a bit of luck, and they lead Everton by a goal to 0.
Yeah, I don't think that was going to... I think that would have been Pickford right behind that. It's just a corner. I mean, I think Bruno Fernandes pushes it to the edge of the box. Marcus Rashford has come in and hit it off his instep, I think, as well. Is that right? Yep, just off his instep. And Branthwaite has tried to block it, as anyone would do. He didn't want to let it go past him, and he had it as well, Pickford. Pickford raises his arm to his defender just to let him know that he would have had that. But any defender would have tried to stop that. If you're worth your salt as a defender, you're not going to allow that to happen. And he couldn't do anything about it. The outstretched left leg takes it into the opposite corner.
Not sure we can say that's a Rashford goal. It all depends if it was heading on target or not.
I don't think it was, to be honest, but I think that's, for me, that's a blatant own goal.
That is one for what is known as the dubious goals panel. If it's on target, it counts as Rashford's goal. If it's off target, then it's Branthwaite's own goal. Either way, Branthwaite significantly altering the flight of the ball. The Premier League have given it initially to Marcus Rashford, suggesting it was just sneaking on target. But really, Jared Branthwaite altering a reasonably tame effort from Rashford that Pickford would have likely saved, and putting it into the middle of the goal, with Pickford, as he looked at it, over to his right-hand side and helpless. Rashford is claiming it. Either way, Manchester United lead by a goal to 0, 35 minutes gone. And Everton will be so disappointed because it had been a positive 35 minutes or so for them. And now Manchester United will hope that the floodgates can open, maybe with a quick second before half-time. Here come Everton. Long ball from right to left, which might be kept in by Ndiaye, and he's able to get there first and win his side a throw-in, which is taken quickly back to Ndiaye. Mikalenko. Short ball down the left-hand side. McNeil is asking for it in the centre. Ashley Young has checked his run on the right-hand side. Originally he wanted it played early with a sweeping ball from left to right, but Everton have just slowed things down. And it's likely that Gay, who's under pressure from Xerxes, is going to have to check back here. Gay originally was given an advantage, but apparently he was tugged by Xerxes. That looked a bit soft to me, but it is going to be a free kick to Everton inside their own half.
I think even the Everton players thought it was a bit soft to get a free kick like that.
There's been another goal at Stamford Bridge in the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa. We will be there shortly. It was Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0. Villa were living a bit dangerously. We'll wait and see whether Chelsea have been able to double their lead or if Villa are level. Rich Wolfenden, your commentator, will be with him very shortly. Here at Old Trafford, though, Marcus Rashford is the difference between the sides, an effort that the Premier League have judged as being on target from a corner from Bruno Fernandes that was put in the back of the net by Jared Branthwaite, a deflection that stopped Pickford from inevitably saving the original shot. And it goes down for now anyway as a Rashford goal. Martinez, Xerxes, works it forwards well. That's an impeccable touch by Bruno Fernandes to just force it away from the defenders, and then he nearly picked up his own ball on the edge of the area, but out very quickly was Jordan Pickford to get in the way. Mazraoui now finds Rashford on the edge of the area. He miscontrols it with his back to goal, and Everton have a counter-attack here, but Dalot slides in to just take it away from McNeil, and Manchester United pick it up again inside their own half. Mainu, who could be a bit more involved, back to De Ligt. And now out to the right-hand side, and Ahmad. Mazraoui. Manchester United slowing things down. Lisandro Martinez, just over the halfway line. Gets away beautifully from Lindstrom with a little dummy. Now works it out to Dalot on the left-hand side. Two defenders come across. Dalot checks. Back he goes into central midfield. Mazraoui, 30 yards from goal. Short diagonal ball to Ahmad on the right-hand side. Moving a bit static from Rashford. So back he goes to Mazraoui. Manchester United 35 yards from goal on the right-hand side. Now Ahmad picks it up, hugging the right touchline, up against Mikalenko. Branthwaite comes across. Rashford. Ahmad once more, forced back by Branthwaite. So all very patient by Manchester United, but they're not really going anywhere.
No, that's that little bit of creativity in that final third there was lacking in that wide area.
Mazraoui, Ahmad turns away from his man, and then he's a bit lucky in many ways because he got away from Mikalenko but kind of ran the ball out of play, but just before, because he'd overcooked it, he was dragged needlessly by Mikalenko. So instead of it being an Everton throw, it would be a Manchester United free kick, and Mikalenko is going to get booked.
Well, I think he seemed like that was going to go out of play. There was no need for him to drag him really, or just to touch him. He did enough there to suggest that it was a pull back. I don't know how much he did pull him back.
We'll be to Stamford Bridge very shortly, but it's free kick and a cheap one to Manchester United here. Far right-hand side, right level with the touchline, and about 30 yards from goal. One-man Everton wall in the form of Ndai. Xerxes just on the edge of the area at the near post. Four players at the back post, including De Ligt and Rashford, who are the furthest back. Now Casemiro takes his place and makes the five at the back post. Martinez and Mainu, the other players that are there. Delivery comes in from the right-hand side, and Pickford decided not to gather it. He kicked it instead. Either way, there's an offside.
Yeah, just watch Pickford there. He's come out and he's connected with it on his right foot, but he didn't know he had because he virtually had his head turned away. He thought he was going to take a whack.
Two players offside though, Casemiro and Xerxes.
Yeah, he didn't know anything about that.
"40 minutes gone here. You wouldn't imagine there'll be a massive amount of injury time. Ben Jacobs and Paul Parker with you as Everton, from the offside, have the ball inside their own half. And Tarkowski is looking for options. Goes short to the right-hand side to Young, who will go back to Pickford, who's just outside his own box. Nobody pressing for Manchester United. Marcus Rashford, the difference between the sides. Diagonal ball forwards, looking for Decore. Oh, it's given away by Branthwaite. Here's an opportunity for Bruno Fernandes. He squares it to Xerxes, and Joshua Xerxes gets a much-needed goal, and Manchester United double their lead. The press worked. Branthwaite gave it away. Bruno Fernandes came storming forwards. He was unselfish, cut it back centrally, and there was Joshua Xerxes for Manchester United 2, Everton 0.
Well, he needed that, Xerxes. He definitely needed a goal of some sort because his game was struggling a little bit in the sense of this game, and just previously when he's had his opportunities he hasn't grabbed them, and that's his first goal for quite a while when he needed it. But again, Everton have really put themselves in trouble really. They deserve to be in the game. They go 1-0 down and then they get caught in possession far too easy. Diallo was the one who gave it away, and I don't know if Bruno Fernandes saw Xerxes. Was he looking at Diallo when he actually knocked that ball back? If he did, he overcooked it. But United go 2-0 up just before half-time. Best position they've been in for quite a while.
there was like a key thing where Decore was under pressure from Mainu that seemingly resulted in a little bit of a hospital pass back to Branthwaite, but then Branthwaite takes a touch, and that's what allows him to be pickpocketed. Maybe he needed to just deal with it first time.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I always say, that everyone feels they've got to play it. If in doubt, they say, get it out, and then argue about it after.
Manchester United have space here again. Kobbie Mainoo works it out to the right-hand side. Ahmed gets the ball caught under his feet and then finally tries to switch the play to Fernandes, but it will be intercepted by Ashley Young. Bruno Fernandes takes it off Ashley Young. Again, Everton dilly-dallying at the back. Fernandes, though, is still under pressure by Young. Goes through his legs. Bruno Fernandes, brilliant skill inside the area, stays on his feet, gets the shot away finally. Now he's calling for a penalty. Nothing given by the referee, John Brooks.
I don't think there's never going to be anything given. If you decided at that moment to stay on your feet and he should have stayed on his feet, then he can't just suddenly just go back, and he's not going to go back and give a penalty. If that's outside the box, though, there's every chance they might have come back to it because the referee would have gone play on.
Theo, have a look. I'm not sure Young makes contact with Bruno Fernandes. I think he only makes contact with the ground.
Yeah.
So it's a good decision by the officials. And with 43 minutes gone, it's Manchester United 2, Everton 0. And Manchester United are threatening to maybe kill this game off before half-time. If they can find a third goal, it would be a scoreline that flatters them. But nonetheless, they've found a way with a little bit of fortune. A Branthwaite either own goal or a deflection from Rashford's, and then a Branthwaite error. Not his best audition, therefore, when you consider that Manchester United were the club that over the summer were looking at him.
Yeah. I mean, he's come in and done well from where he's come from, Ben, but I think he certainly was hyped in the market.
Xerxes' second Premier League goal of the season as Everton win a free kick just inside their own half. McNeil is fouled. Just before that free kick's taken, let's go to Stamford Bridge, where there's been a second goal. Commentator Rich Wolfenden.
Fernandes, Palmer lines it up 25 yards, plays it to Fernandes, who digs it out into the bottom corner. He cost a lot of money, but he's worth it when he does stuff like that. Enzo Fernandes. Palmer fizzed it into him, his first touch. It looked loose and he had to stretch at the shot as he poked it beyond the goalkeeper.
Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. So the table would open up a little bit. Chelsea would move to 25 and into third. Brighton 23, Man City 23, Forest 22. Everybody else would be at a bit more of a distance. On the other hand, if Villa somehow beat Chelsea, it all tightens up. Villa would be down to 12th as things stand on 19 points. And they've got some work to do at Stamford Bridge, trailing by 2-0. Still 0-0 between Spurs and Fulham. And here we've got 2 minutes of added time. And Everton have the ball at the back. Overall thoughts on the first 45, Paul?
United are fortunate to be 2-0 up, but they're the ones, they've caused their own problems, Everton, really. While United, when it went for a stage after 10 minutes or so where United were causing their own problems by the fact of they didn't really go forward of any great authority, and then Everton were bouncing off the back of it and causing problems. Just must say this last 10-15 minutes, it's been about United really just getting in that final third and showing a little bit more purpose. Haven't heard Onana mentioned for quite a while, so that tells you Everton have lost that intensity in going forward. And what they do next, we don't really know, because Everton are not a team really to go back and come back from a 2-goal deficit. Is something that they don't generally do because they're not big goal scorers.
Yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is on the bench as Manchester United launch one forwards down the right-hand side. Pickford comes out and sliced it away, but Ahmad was offside. So it'll be Everton ball with 30 seconds of regulation time to go. Everton 15th, 2 wins, and if they lose here, 6 defeats. And Everton launch it forwards first time. Beto leans into De Ligt and fouls him. Manchester United free kick. And that should just about be that for the first half. 2 minutes are basically up. Chelsea 2, Villa 0. 0-0 still in that Spurs-Fulham game. and you would imagine that it won't be too long before we see Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the second half, if the scoreline stays as is. Onana won't even have time to take this free kick. There is the half-time whistle. Manchester United 2, Everton 0. Rashford with the opener. It was deflected from a corner off Jared Branthwaite, and Joshua Zirkzee with his second Premier League goal of the season. And Paul Parker, Ruben Amorim won't necessarily be delighted with the 45 minutes in terms of what he's seen, particularly with Manchester United being a bit scrappy at times in midfield, but he'll certainly be pleased with a bit of breathing space.
Oh, without the breathing space, without a doubt, he'll be pleased that he's going in at half-time with 2 goals. And I think he'll be even more pleased at the end of the game if he wins his first league game at home as early as he's maybe the opportunity to go and do it. Really, that's what he wants to get more than anything. But he won't be happy with that performance. He can't be. I mean, he set standards while he's managing Sporting, but he knows himself that it's got to be better than that. That wasn't good enough, really.
Paul, thank you for now. More from Paul in just a moment. Manchester United do lead at the break. Marcus Rashford with the opener, deflected in off Jared Branthwaite, and then a mistake by Branthwaite. Bruno Fernandes down the right-hand side, cut it into around the penalty area, and there was Joshua Zirkzee to arrive with a simple finish for his second Premier League goal of the season. And at the break, it is Manchester United 2, Everton 0 on Premier League Live.
Want to listen to Sirius XM FC when you get out of the car? Tyler Terry.
What's up, soccer fans? Thanks for hanging out with us today for Manchester United's game against Everton. We really appreciate you being here, hanging out with us. SO Peeps, it's great to see you guys again. We are building a community of Manchester United fans here. We're doing every single game of Manchester United season, EPL game. We'll probably get into every single game that they do, the Europa League, the Cups, all of that stuff. But right now, we're just doing the regular season games. And check out my man True on EAFC 25. A lot of awesome content coming up there as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hitting that like button. Thank you for sharing this out. And let's build an awesome Manchester United and awesome EAFC community together. Cheers, everybody.
4th down, 28-yard line.
You can choose to take a risk.
It's now or never.
Choose to take a break.
Hey SOP fans, my name's True. I'm a massive Manchester United fan and I'm also a pro EAFC player. Now today's a big game because it's Ruben Amorim's first game managing Manchester United in the Premier League, and we need to get those 3 points on the table. We need to see progression in terms of style of play and something that we can build on. I'll be the guy that's in the chat supporting the team. Hopefully we can get those 3 points like I said. Let's go Manchester United. Come on.
.com today for the largest collection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. NFL Shop is your ultimate destination for the official NFL sideline collection, worn by players and coaches on game day. Explore the same sideline and on-field gear worn by your favorite players and coaches at NFL Shop. To shop now, go to NFLshop.com.
Hi, I'm Joe Perillo with JoePerillo.com. We know many of you are searching for just that right pre-owned luxury vehicle. That's why I want to tell you about JoePerillo.com. At JoePerillo.com, you could browse our huge selection of curated luxury vehicles. JoePerillo.com is based in Chicago, but we ship cars all over the country. Check out JoePerillo.com. That's Joe Perillo, Perillo. Or dial 312-BMW 1111. That's 312-BMW 1111. 312-BMW 1111.
It's the holidays, and SiriusXM's Dr. Radio is here to help with a healthy holiday survival guide. Enjoy your holiday meals without overdoing it.
Try and avoid indigestion, bloating, and reflux.
Managing you and your family's mental health.
Seasonal depression, relationship struggles, stress, and burnout.
It's Dr. Radio's Healthy Holiday Survival Guide. Available now on the SiriusXM app. Spread the word. Anyone can enjoy SiriusXM in the car during our Listen Free event, happening now through December 2nd.
Good afternoon, you're listening to Premier League Live. Half-time at Old Trafford, Manchester United 2, Everton 0. Rashford and Zirkzee with the goals, and these are the first half highs.
Cucurella wins it back strongly. He's in the penalty area. It's across the face of goal, saved onto the post and in. And it's the man who just has gone up another level this year. Nicholas Jackson.
United's second corner of the game. Bruno Fernandes to deliver. It's off the training ground. It's chipped into Rashford. It takes a deflection and it finds its way into the back of the net. Likely off Jared Branthwaite. And Manchester United have the lead.
Tete on the overlap at right back as Iwobi to his right, Lukic to his left. It's crossed towards Jimenez. It's a remarkable Fraser forced to save. Fernandes, Palmer lines it up 25 yards. Plays it to Fernandes who digs it out into the bottom corner. He cost a lot of money, but he's worth it when he does stuff like that. Enzo Fernandez. Palmer fizzed it into him. His first touch, it looked loose and he had to stretch at the shot as he poked it beyond the goalkeeper.
Oh, it's given away by Branthwaite. Here's the opportunity for Bruno Fernandes. He squares it to Xerxes, and Joshua Xerxes gets a much-needed goal, and Manchester United double their lead.
Emil Smith-Rowe in towards Jimenez with a lovely outside of the boot pass. There's space for Iwobi on the right if they can spot him. It's Alex Iwobi. It's off the crossbar and away. And with Spurs stretched, Iwobi couldn't make them pay.
Half-time at Old Trafford on Premier League Live, 2-0 to Manchester United. The goals coming in the latter part of the first half. Marcus Rashford with the opener. He has been credited it by the Premier League. It was Bruno Fernandes' corner, chipped to the edge of the area, and on the volley, Rashford trying to sort of pass it into the far left-hand corner. Not hit with that much conviction, but as it went through, Jared Branthwaite stuck out a leg and changed the path of the ball and deflected it into the centre of the goal. And then Branthwaite took a touch and under pressure was dispossessed by Bruno Fernandes down the right-hand side. Fernandes went storming up to the edge of the area, cut it back, and there was Joshua Xerxes to double Manchester United's lead. So from Everton's point of view, they'll feel that they were two preventable goals. From Manchester United's perspective, they have that little bit of breathing space at half-time, and it is Manchester United 2, Everton 0. In terms of the other games, Chelsea are well in control against Aston Villa. Goals from Nicholas Jackson, his 8th of the season, and Enzo Fernandez, the captain. It's Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. Chelsea, as things stand, are moving third, and in the other game, it's still 0-0 between Tottenham and Fulham. As for the late kickoff, it's a big one. Tom Rennie leading our coverage alongside Chris Perry. It's Liverpool against Manchester City. Kickoff is at 4 o'clock, so we'll be able to bring you the team news in about 20 minutes' time. And before that, let's hear from the two managers, Pep Guardiola and Arne Slot.
I wouldn't be surprised if he comes up with another brilliant idea. So I think he was the one who started playing the inverted winger, fullback. Then he was the one that started to play the centre back as a number 6. So I don't think it's a surprise for anyone if he again comes up with something no one has ever thought about before to make his team even stronger. And that's probably one of the reasons why he inspired so many managers around the world with all these. When he came up with it, we all thought it was crazy. Then he did it, and then we all thought, okay, let's try to do the same because it's a brilliant idea. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes up with something new again.
Even in the good situations, when we have been in the past, in November, December, thinking and win the title was not much realistic. But of course, recover a big difference. A team like Jets lost one game that is in a really good form. They are so powerful in all departments, especially in the boxes. Always I think about the target when arrive in March, April. Where we are right now, okay, we are 1 or 2 months ago. Now is the moment to try to do it. By November, December, it doesn't matter what happened on Sunday. It will be more difficult if we don't take results, that's for sure. But still, there are many, many games to play.
We have to be on top of our game. We have to be aggressive, but always in a good way. But maybe Curtis meant, I don't know, we have to ask him, is not only without the ball, but also with the ball, be a bit more calm and use your head a bit more.
In a long career as a football player and manager for many years, you live these situations. So at the end, yeah, we lost 5 games and draw the last one. We should have win yes or yes. So, but it's happened. Football sometimes they said, what can happen? It's happened. So don't think much. I would say in these situations, go to the principles. And when you live it, accept it.
Those were the two managers. Kickoff is at 4 o'clock, and we will give you the team news as soon as it comes in. Paul Parker alongside me. We'll talk about the second half here in just a moment. But this game at Anfield, does it become, even this early in the season, must win for Man City if they're to stay in the title race?
I'd like to say no, it shouldn't do. It shouldn't do, but I mean, I don't think so, because I think Liverpool have got some games, they've got some hard games coming up there. And I just think there's no fear factor now, I think, this season to what there has been before. Everyone is not suddenly saying, this game is a gimme or whatever, in the sense of we're not going to try. It seems like teams now are trying to beat the top sides, the so-called better sides, I should say. So I think even if they were to lose, and I think City are expected to lose at Anfield today, I still don't think it's over for City as such. I still think there's an opportunity for them to put a run together, but then it's about them getting their players back. But do we say that getting back their players would make a difference?
Send us your predictions via @TalkSport Live for that game. It's Liverpool against Manchester City, and it's 4 o'clock UK, so in about 90 minutes from now. Quick word in the second half here before we go to a break. Do you expect either side to make any half-time changes?
More so Everton. They have to try and do something. Maybe Calvert-Lewin will come on. He might keep Beto on as well, maybe to try and do something. The problem is if Everton open up, because Sean Dyche is very keeping everything compact, now they've got nothing to lose as such, so they're going to have to do something different. Otherwise he's putting himself under pressure, and he's not expressing himself with his team as a manager if he doesn't give them make them be a little bit freer, loosen up on the players, allow them to go forward. But defensively, you're going to say they're going to concede again.
More from Paul in just a moment. Second half is coming next from Old Trafford. It's Manchester United 2, Everton 0 on Premier League Live. Can Everton get back in it, or will it be a first Premier League win for Ruben Amorim? We'll find out next.
Through the years
Welcome your family and friends home with timeless Christmas music and carols on Hallmark Radio.
It's the most wonderful time.
A channel that fills the season of giving and gathering with sounds of warmth and good cheer.
You will get a sentimental feeling when you hear
Hallmark Radio on Channel 105 through Christmas Day, or listen at home with the SiriusXM app, along with dozens of other holiday channels and specials.
We all have a story or two about changing our minds on the color choice that Uncle Fred recommended to paint our kitchen with, or how that small color chip you found on the color wheel didn't exactly translate properly when you painted the entire first floor of your home. Well, now is the best time to call the CertaPro professionals to help you choose the color that fits you, your lifestyle, your home. Visit CertaPro.com today. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro. Each local CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Okay, antibodies, huddle up. We're a great team, but the flu is dominating. The good news is the human we're protecting just got his flu shot. That means all of us antibodies have strong new gear that will help us fight and defend against the flu. We must win so that our human can stay healthy and help protect the people he cares about most.
Let's work as a team to defend against the flu. Gear up with a flu shot to help protect yourself and others and reduce your risk of being sick or hospitalized with the flu. Learn more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Sports Grid Radio is the only 24/7 channel dedicated solely to sports wagering and handicapping. Legendary voice Scott Farrell leads our team of experts before, during, and after every game.
70% of the money was on the under. I bet the over and hit it.
What's up, SO peeps? True, how you doing, buddy? Look at that. True's done with the EAFC Foot Champs for the weekend. Just don't know what. He said he had 11 wins now, a little bit ago during the first half. So what'd you finish with, True? What was the record, man? And should we open the rewards live on the stream? Should I bring my PlayStation down here and open them up right here on the game while when Manchester United wins this matchup? Because we're going to go get another goal or two, right? So let's see who's going to get the next goal for Manchester United in this one. I think Rashford gets the double here. It's going to happen. All right. Got to go get some breakfast since I can't cook anything upstairs because my house is all under renovation. And good to see you, Great Kate. Thanks for stopping in. Sorry that Allison woke you up this morning. Good morning. It's early. Streams are up early. G6 Entertainment's always working. All right, let's get back to the football. SO peeps, so great to see you all. Nick Pateris, where are you, bro? Glasshouse Soccer, Everton. Isn't this your team? Come on, man. I got to send Nick a text and get him in the chat. All right. Go Manchester United.
About to get underway. Manchester United 2, Everton 0. We'll let you know if there's any changes at half-time. I'll run through the teams for you again in full when we get into commentary. Manchester United with goals from Marcus Rashford and also a much-needed first goal under Ruben Amorim for Joshua Zirkzee. United, Paul Parker, haven't been at their best, but ultimately you're 2-0 up in a game that now they shouldn't be expected to lose.
No, but we do know that they don't generally like a 2-0 deficit, do they? They quite enjoy letting teams get back into a game. They've got that way about them. But this is a moment when they can express themselves a little bit, Manchester United, and get on the ball and just try and be better with it than what they had been in the first half, and maybe go out and go and score a genuine goal rather than goals having a little bit of good fortune with them.
Everton will get us underway, and they are kicking from right to left, and it is no changes for either side at half-time. Everton all in blue, Manchester United in their home strip of red and white, and they work the ball neatly immediately to Amad Diallo, who's got space to run here. Everton need to track back. Tarkowski is there. Diallo to Rashford through the legs of Pickford. 20 seconds gone in the second half. Marcus Rashford has his second, and Manchester United surely have got their first Premier League win under Ruben Amorim. It is Manchester United 3, Everton 0.
Well, that's the way to go about it. That kills any half-time talk that happened in that Everton dressing room. And be honest, that's how you get the best out of Marcus Rashford.
Hold on. Did I just call that during halftime? Go back about a minute and a half. I said Rashford's getting another one. Let's go. That's what we talk about, right? SOP Soccer, true killer. That's how we do it. Go Manchester United. Rashford, 3-0. Let's finish this one off.
The moment you give him too much time, too many touches, he's not at his best finishing. But this was Diallo's timing of the pass. The weight of pass was absolutely perfect.
We've been critical at times, but in the build-up pass to Amad, Joshua Zirkzee deserves a lot of credit as well, because that touch and that instinctive ability to feed Ahmed played a big role in this goal.
Well, the thing with the manager, when he's tried Garnacho in there with Diallo, and it doesn't work because he won't release the ball. Zirkzee's strength, and what everyone wants to see, is seeing passes and the weight of passes, and he's showing that on a few occasions already. And more importantly, involvement with that goal.
Confidence and swagger all of a sudden as Manchester United have a 3-0 lead, and Everton have to be wary of floodgates opening at this point. As Paul said, the team talk very much out the window, and I'm sure it won't be long before we see Dominic Calvert-Lewin start to warm up. Pickford, Young, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikolenko, Gay, Decore, Lindstrom, McNeil and Dye and Beto at the moment on the field for Everton, and Tarkowski is on the ball. Manchester United with Anana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, Diallo, Mainu, Casemiro, Dallo, Rashford, Fernandes and Zirkzee. 2 for Rashford, 1 for Zirkzee. So Rashford on a hat-trick as Zirkzee's just been caught on his right heel inside his own half, and Manchester United will have a free kick.
I don't think there was, he's actually won the ball, hasn't he? To be fair to Gay, I don't see how that was a foul. But he doesn't need Bruno Fernandes to talk to an opposing player and tell him how to tackle.
Rashford has 3 Premier League goals in 2 games against this backdrop of Ten Hag and not being able to recover his form, and he now has 3 and 2 under the new manager. And in addition to that, it is 50 Premier League goals at Old Trafford, and he's just the 6th player to reach that milestone. As Everton come forwards and Kobbie Mainoo concedes a, I think, necessary free kick in many ways after it was sloppily given away, and that will give Everton a free kick right on the edge of the Manchester United area. It all started with Anana. He played a ball into Kobbie Mainoo. Mainoo miscontrolled it and then immediately had to drag the shirt of McNeil to stop him running through into the area, and it's a yellow card for Mainoo.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a touch. I thought Dwight McNeil did go down a bit easy, but De Ligt was just behind him. He didn't have it easy. It wasn't the case of him going straight through and going one-on-one with Onana. De Ligt was there and he had to take him on to get anything from it. Decided not to, went to ground.
So Everton free kick, central, decent distance out, about 25 yards. Lindstrom, Mikalenko and Young all standing over the ball. Lindstrom lining up like he wants to hit it, and he finds Casemiro's head in the wall, and it ricochets out to Dalot, and it's a waste from Everton. Dalot took a slightly poor first touch.
He certainly did.
Still got a clearance on it though, but Everton pick it up, at least temporarily, and then Beto in a 50-50 shoulder barges Casemiro down to the ground. Again, I'm not sure it was a foul.
It's not a foul. It can't be a foul if you're shoulder to shoulder. It's a battle of the strongest, and it was just shoulder to shoulder. It was more the fact that Casemiro wasn't aware he was there. Referee seems to be trying to take contact out of the game of football far too much.
Casemiro, though, knows exactly how to get those whistles. Manchester United waste the free kick as they hand it straight back to Everton. Ashley Young picks it up. But it's all about game management now for Manchester United, as Everton are going to have to start taking some risks. That's a decent ball forwards down the right-hand side. Beto is dragged down by, I think, Martinez.
I don't think that was just by the reaction there. I'm looking, that doesn't make, for me, just the reaction of Martinez there suggests to me he actually didn't make any. There was a little touch on the side, but it wasn't enough for him to go down. It was just a tap and away. So that wasn't enough. Maybe it was unnecessary to do the tap because you put yourself in that position, but the referee reacts off of something, and I think it was the assistant referees told the referee that it was a tap.
Rashford is on a hat-trick and Xerxes has a goal, but Everton have an opportunity here. The free kick is a bit further out. Martinez was never in danger of a red because De Ligt was right next to him and had slid in for the ball. Everton choosing to cross the free kick, and it's to Tarkowski, who wins the first header. It's laid off to Lindstrom, and his shot just to the right of the penalty spot is blocked. That was well worked by Everton, but Manchester United had bodies back, and now there might be a counter-attack. It's chipped forwards to the feet of Ahmad, who actually miscontrolled that twice. First of all, handed it back, got a second opportunity, and again took a heavy first touch, and now Gay comes away with it for Everton. Some of these players need new boots.
But it does look good when you take it on the outside of the foot, but then you put yourself under pressure because it was unnecessary. Should have been off his instep, and that's why it was a poor touch the second time.
Manchester United leading Everton by 3-0. And as far as the table is concerned, it will look a little bit healthier suddenly for the Red Devils under Ruben Amorim. If it stays as is, Manchester United will move to 9th on 19 points. And they will only be 4 points off Champions League football. And interestingly, because of the Chelsea result, Man City would be down in 5th heading into that game against Liverpool. It's Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0, and it's still 0-0 between Spurs and Fulham. Here come Everton again. McNeil out to the left-hand side, and Ndai. His cross is blocked by the shins of Mazraoui, and it will be an Everton corner. 53 minutes gone. Manchester United scoring a third goal 20 seconds into the second half. And that has certainly knocked a bit of the stuffing out of Everton as we see Harry Maguire, one of a number of substitutes, stripping off. He's definitely coming on. We might also be seeing Mason Mount shortly too. Everton corner, near left-hand side. Tarkowski and Branthwaite are up. McNeil to deliver to the near post. Half cleared by Ahmad, hooked away by Martinez. All the way back to the halfway line, where again Everton will pick it up, but a poor little nod by Decore provides a counter-attack. Now Ahmed finds Marcus Rashford. He's on a hat-trick. Rashford, confident, looking for options onto the right foot, and eventually it's a good block by Mikalenko, who stayed with him all the way.
He did. He didn't dive in at all. he virtually said, you're going to have to beat me, because he knows if he dives in, Rashford gets the other side of him, he isn't going to catch him. He just waited there, Mikalenko, until such time he had players around him who he knew then that he was safe then to maybe then go and stick his leg out and make the block.
Seems to take an age, though, for anybody to give Rashford an option. I know it's a counter-attack.
Yeah, but to be honest, where he'd gone, there was no way. He had 3 players around him, Ben. The only option there for him really was to go around and come back again and start the game again.
Chance goes a-begging. Good defending by the Ukrainian Mikalenko. And it stays at Manchester United 3, Everton 0. Ruben Amorim on course for his first Premier League win. And Marcus Rashford with 3 goals in 2 games under Amorim in the Premier League, after also scoring that early goal against Ipswich as well. So all looking very positive for Rashford. And if Manchester United do go on to win this comfortably, the beauty in many ways is that you still feel they've got a gear or 2 to go up.
Well, there's definitely they're still missing something. For a Manchester United side, they are missing something. There's a lot's expected, and they're still not delivering.
Manchester United are going to make a double change. Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire are the players that are going to come on, and Mazraoui is going to depart, as is Matthias de Ligt. Mason Mount was warming up, but at the moment is not coming on. That may change in the next 10 minutes or so.
I'm just wondering how this is going to work now. Maguire will go into the middle. I'm just wondering where Luke Shaw's going to go on the right-hand side. That's interesting. No, he's gone to the left. Martinez, I should say, has moved to the right.
We understand, by the way, that Edison has been dropped for Manchester City. We will confirm the team news in full for you in just a second, but TalkSport Live understands that Edison does not start for Manchester City. Full lineups are out in just a couple of minutes' time. It's Manchester United 3, Everton 0. And as Paul says, Martinez has gone over the right-hand side, Shaw is on the left, and Harry Maguire is a straight swap for Matthias de Ligt. And it's Manchester United 3, Everton 0 here, as Ahmad is battling in central midfield and eventually he's dragged down by Idrissa Gueye, and that will be a yellow card for the Everton midfielder. Another needless one really, because Ahmad wasn't going anywhere. He brought the ball down very well and then he's just pulled back around the shoulder area. Clear foul right in front of the referee, John Brooks.
Well, if you're going to do it properly by pulling him back, and do it while the referee's there as well. And he's done all that.
And it's still just on the halfway line with plenty of other Everton players there. So a needless yellow for Idrissa Gueye. Manchester United go backwards to Shaw with the free kick. Bruno Fernandes is being pressed on this occasion, so he goes all the way back to Onana. And now Martinez on that right-hand side. Maguire's not an option.
The problem you've got, though, is that Martinez is always going to come inside. He's not going to go on his right foot. It'd have been better if he'd have gone into the middle and Maguire come to the right. At least then you've got a right-footed player who can go, then can always be looking to go on the outside.
58 minutes gone. Manchester United 3, Everton 0. And it's Luke Shaw on the left-hand side for Manchester United. Manchester United have struggled for goals, but they've got 3 here. Prior to this, they only scored 13 in the Premier League, which is up there with other sides struggling at the bottom of the table. Ipswich with 13, Southampton with 10, Palace with 11, and Everton, who have only got 10, the only worse outputs in the Premier League. But the good news for Manchester United is their defence has held up well, with only 13 goals conceded. And now there's an opportunity down the left-hand side here for Manchester United. It's fed into Bruno Fernandes, can't quite take it round the on-rushing Pickford, who came out well. Fernandes picks up the ball again, lays it to Mainu, and then a ball to the near post, which I think was intended for The peel off of Xerxes is just straight back to Pickford because Xerxes stayed static waiting for the cutback. And in the end, it was good goalkeeping by Pickford, and Everton have the ball at the back. But still, Manchester United look more likely to score than Everton with an hour gone. And it really is just about game management now for Manchester United. At TalkSport Live, if you'd like a shout out, we always love to hear from you. You can get in contact with us via X. Please do also tell us where in the world you are listening from and what you are up to on this Sunday afternoon. Exactly 60 minutes gone. Manchester United 3, Everton 0. Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. And the deadlock has been broken at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We can hear about that from Matt Drabble.
Maddison left of centre, out to Timo Werner. He'll step into the penalty area. Up against Tete, back towards Brennan Johnson. Spurs hit swiftly on the counter-attack, as we've seen them do so often. And the Premier League's top scorers lead on home soil.
Spurs 1, Fulham 0. Johnson the scorer. Manchester United 3, Everton 0. Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. Pickford with the ball at the back for Everton, who have had 6 attempts on goal but only 1 on target. Swept out to the right-hand side. Beto is through the centre, now being marked by Maguire. Has to check his run as Everton go backwards. Idrissa Gueye, who's on that yellow card, remember. Branthwaite, who had an unfortunate hand in both goals. Mikalenko under pressure, back to Branthwaite, just about finds Pickford. And Pickford will hoof it long, too long. Maguire kind of heads it straight into Beto, and now Beto's able to gather the ball, shrug off Casemiro, poke it to Decore, and finally the referee brings it back for a lack of advantage, and Everton will have a free kick as Casemiro this time on the wrong end of a decision, and it's an Everton free kick right on the edge of the area.
And that come about from Harry Maguire not going to the ball, thinking it was easy. And Beto has just stepped across the front of him. He heads it onto Beto, and that's where they managed to get something in this attacking third. They're still in a way there. They haven't given up. It's just that they're just not good enough, are they, in that final third? They just don't look like they've got a goal in them, Everton.
Everton free kick.
Ashley Young must get this one. He desperately wanted the first one.
Lindstrom is still setting it. He took the one a while ago and found the wall, Casemiro specifically. Mikalenko walks away with it. Young is eyeing this up. Mikalenko standing right over the ball. It's just under 25 yards out. There's a 4-man Manchester United wall, including Harry Maguire. Now Xerxes joins it. There's a 2-man Everton wall in front, and Dye and Decore. And Everton are arguing that the Manchester United wall are not behind the white line. Ahmad is lying on the ground to stop a low effort under the wall. Lindstrom is counting his steps. And Tarkowski could even take it potentially as well. It's Lindstrom to hit it. It's another poor free kick. It's straight into the middle of the wall. Casemiro again. It will find Gueye though. And now Everton might be able to get across him from the right-hand side. Whipped in towards Onana. Half cleared by Shaw. Not sure he actually needed to header that because it was going straight out of play. But Manchester United have got it back up to the halfway line. And again, Everton a bit toothless, and now Tarkowski gives it away. Amad Diallo takes it off him. He's got Xerxes to his left-hand side. Joshua Xerxes can't finish his second of the game, and it's a rout. It is the first Premier League win for Ruben Amorim. It's Manchester United 4, Everton 0. Amad Diallo unselfish. Xerxes with his second of the game. But once again, it all came from a dreadful Everton error.
And it's again about Diallo again, that never die. That experience, what he just does is incredible. How many times do you see him close people down? And that's what he's gone and done again. He's just chased something he had no right to be getting. Marcus Rashford allegedly went across to help him. He didn't help him at all. In fact, he got in the way. He runs straight out and he runs straight past the ball. See him come across and He goes back to Tarkowski, and he doesn't. He gets caught on his wrong foot. Diallo takes off him again. He is so unselfish. He gives it to Xerxes and makes it easy for him, to be perfectly honest. Yes, he'll get the credit of the goal, but I'm quite sure at some point he'll thank his teammate for making the job easy for him.
Manchester United 4, Everton 0. Tarkowski should have just gone backwards first time, but he stayed facing the play, got it caught under his feet, and from there, Ahmad unselfish, Xerxes clinical, and Manchester United, you would imagine, will sense more goals in this game now. 4-0 as it stands, 2 for Rashford, 2 for Xerxes, and it's turning into a perfect afternoon for Ruben Amorim, who's looking calm on the touchline. No need to over-celebrate for him, but what he can do is make some changes now, as Alejandro Garnacho and Manuel Ugarte will both come on. The captain, Bruno Fernandes, is the first player off. Everton have made a change as well, or about to anyway. Lindstrom is going to depart, and it looks like Jack Harrison is going to come on, who hasn't really clicked at Everton since that move from Leeds. And Casemiro is the other Manchester United player to depart. Alejandro Garnacho comes on. So Garnacho and Ugarte for Casemiro and Fernandes, and Lindstrom off and Harrison on. Just whilst we've got a slight break in play, let's give you the team news from the Liverpool-Manchester City game. And as we revealed to you a moment ago, the headline for Man City is Ortega comes in for Ederson. From Liverpool's perspective, Darwin Núñez drops to the bench, and there is a start in the game for Cody Gakpo. Full team news for you in just a moment, but that is the headline. Liverpool against Manchester City, 4 o'clock, so just over an hour from now. Tom Rennie, Chris Perry talking you through the game. It's a big one in the Premier League, as Everton make that change that I referenced just a moment ago, and in fact they're going to make a couple of others as well. So Lindstrom is off, Harrison is on, Calvert-Lewin and also Orel Mangala. It's a triple change for Sean Dyche's side. And very much a throw of the dice to get some players minutes and maybe a consolation, but near impossible, you would think now, for Everton to find a way back into this game. So both managers making some changes. Of course, Calvert-Lewin has come on for Beto. 67 minutes gone. It's Manchester United 4, Everton 0. And Manchester United have the ball on the halfway line. It's still Chelsea 2, Villa 0. And Tottenham are leading Fulham after that Brennan Johnson goal. 1-0 in that game. Although I can tell you there's been another goal at Craven Cottage and will be there shortly. Casemiro has gone off, remember, and Ugarte is waiting for his first touch. And Everton have the ball through Harrison, who feeds it to Calvert-Lewin. Aston Villa and Chelsea is a bit delayed compared to our game, so that one's probably going to finish 5 or 6 minutes later. Of course, the game, I think I said Craven Cottage before, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So Tottenham are home in that game, but there has been another goal in the match, and we'll be there shortly. 68 minutes gone. And we'll hear from Matt Drabble in just a moment. But Manchester United are cruising here. And you would think, from Everton's point of view, it's just about trying to find a consolation in a positive last 20 minutes. Kobbie Mainoo has the ball. He feeds it down the left-hand side. That's well weighted as well. Garnacho has it. He tried to find Rashford just on the edge of the area, but it wasn't the best ball, so Everton will be able to come away with it with Ndiaye, who was lively in the first half but quiet in the second. Ahmad is chasing back, plays it out of play for an Everton throw-in, deep inside their own half. Ruben Amorim wearing a big black puffer jacket as he gets used to the English weather, but it is dry. It counts as mild, I think, in terms of this time of year, but not for Amorim. And as Manchester United defend the throw-in, Mainoo is going to be penalised for a foul on Ndiaye, and Everton will have a free kick on the halfway line. Tarkowski to the substitute Orel Mangala. Now out on the right-hand side, Ashley Young. Calvert-Lewin hasn't been involved yet. Xerxes is able to take it off Harrison. Ugarte gets his first touch. Maguire will go all the way back to the goalkeeper, Anana. What can Everton do in this last 20 minutes? They're obviously just playing for pride.
Just try and score a goal, to be honest, even though they've been behind and they've had a little bit, but they just haven't done enough. The only time they've really looked like they've come close is when they've had a free kick. That's as good as it's been. And I wonder if Lindstrom got taken off because he's had 2 bad free kicks.
And Everton, as I mentioned in the first half, have got an absolutely dreadful run of fixtures ahead. So Dan Friedkin, who's expected to be confirmed as Everton's new owner in the next few weeks, is going to be watching on a bit nervously. How about this for a run of games, Paul, before Boxing Day? Wolves at home surely must win, and then Merseyside derby away at Arsenal, home to Chelsea, away at Man City on Boxing Day.
That's not good, is it?
They must beat Wolves.
Wolves is the one. If they don't win that one, that will cause problems. And incredible stadium, but it could be a championship stadium, which every club in a championship is going to love going to.
Yeah, Everton about to open that new stadium. And another one of the sort of iconic old school stadiums like Goodison Park goes away from the Premier League roster. But it does look a fantastic new facility at Bramley Dock. Here's McNeil for Everton. He's 35 yards from goal in a central area. He's got 2 around him. He just sort of chips it out to the right-hand side. Jack Harrison has got a run here at Dallow, who blocks the cross. Everton throw in, level with the penalty area, far right-hand side with 19 minutes remaining. Much of the intensity has gone out the game, but now Xerxes and Rashford are on hat-tricks as Everton are going to make another substitution here. And off will go Ashley Young, who's been booked. No real surprise that the veteran has been taken off. He's worked hard but hasn't been able to really impact the game in an attacking sense. So off goes Everton's number 18, and on will come Nathan Patterson. Patterson, who is still only 23 and has been capped by Scotland over 20 times, having joined Everton from Rangers a couple of years ago. And that will be a like-for-like swap. 17 minutes remain. Everton have the ball in the centre of the park. They again live a bit dangerously as Patterson eventually finds Pickford under pressure from Kobbie Mainoo. Just a reminder again, 4 o'clock, you can join Tom Rennie for that big game. Liverpool against Manchester City, where the headline news is that Ederson has been dropped and Steph Ortega is in goal for the visitors. Just to give you the full team news, Cody Gakpo leading the line for Liverpool, Darwin Núñez on the bench, Kelleher in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez, Van Dijk and Robertson across the back, Gravenberch, McAllister, Salah, Soboslai, Diaz and Gakpo. And for Manchester City, Ortega in for Ederson, Walker and Ake the fullbacks, Akanji and Diaz, Lewis and Gundogan will come back to the benches in due course as Everton come forwards, but they're dispossessed on the edge of the area. Bernardo Silva, Foden, Nunez and Haaland leading the line. And Manchester United, having dispossessed Everton, choose just to check rather than start a counter-attack and eat into the clock a little bit as Xerxes goes backwards and then just hangs on to the ball in the centre of the park. The bench for Liverpool, Jarrus and Davis the goalkeepers, Endo, Nunez, Jones, Elliott, Quansah, Morton and Nyonyi, and Edison, Carson, Grealish, Doku, De Bruyne, Gvardiol. That's a surprise as well. Gvardiol on the bench, Savinho, O'Reilly and McAtee. So that game is 4 o'clock. Tom Rennie, Chris Perry on Premier League Live. 15 minutes gone to go here, and if you would like a shout out, then you can get in contact with us via @TalkSport Live. Hello to Eric, who's listening from Philadelphia. Says the commentary's more entertaining than the game. Anxiously awaiting the Man City game next. Let's go City. And it has gone a bit flat now, hasn't it, as you would expect?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot initially, but once they've got, the 2 goals, the third goal was the one that really took the breath away from Everton, and the fourth one has just dragged everything away from them. Not a thing for them to go for. The substitutions by Manchester United straight away just suggested that.
Diallo backheels it to Xerxes, who now feeds Rashford, who's wide right up against Mikalenko. Garnacho is in the centre. Rashford checks, and Manchester United again happy to go backwards and just manage the clock a little bit. Still 14 minutes to go. There won't be that much added time, only really the substitutes and the goals. Martinez, Maguire, and now lofted out to Shaw on that left-hand side. Dalot, and back again to Maguire. It's just patient play, but Calvert-Lewin and McNeil are not pressing, so Manchester United can just take their time at the back here. They don't have to worry too much, and every pass seems to be taking an absolute age at this point.
It certainly is taking an age.
Forwards it goes into central midfield. Agate will lose possession. McNeil running towards the byline, and I don't think he's kept that in. He didn't have any other options. Sean Dyche is applauding the effort, but Everton are struggling to win the ball, but they're not pressing to try and do so, and Manchester United are not really at the moment that desperate for a fifth. So it's all ending in a drab way, but Ruben Amorim is going to get his first win as Manchester United manager in the Premier League, and 2 players that very much needed goals have got them in this game. A brace for Rashford, a brace for Xerxes, and it's Manchester United 4, Everton 0. Picked up in central midfield by Calvert-Lewin, but from deep. Back to Patterson. Tarkowski, who made an error under pressure for the 4th goal. Well worked out to the left-hand side, and Dye, who's playing more as a wide player at the moment, he's able to shrug off Martinez, gets to the byline, but he was off balance and just chips it into no man's land, but the ball actually went out then in, so it'll be a goal kick to Manchester United. And I don't think Onana has had a single thing to do in this second half.
He hasn't. This is the second time I've watched Everton this season, and I'm still seeing the same what I saw before, and it's just not good. I mean, I look at some of the other, you look at the likes of Southampton and Ipswich and even Leicester, they seem to have a little bit more life in them, a little bit more spring about them. If they're, that's what we're talking about, them being up against this season.
Everton do have Amanda Broja, who played on Friday for the under-23s and is on loan from Chelsea and is now in a position where he can be in the matchday squad over the festive period, so that may help as far as the goals are concerned, but essentially you have a situation where Everton are not scoring that many and are conceding a lot, And with this run of fixtures to come, they could easily, come the end of the year, be in the bottom 3. Kobbie Mainoo fouled as he runs forwards down the left-hand side by Patterson. Another needless foul. And it's a Manchester United free kick, wide on the far left-hand side, 35 yards from goal. And that will allow Mason Mount to be introduced for Kobbie Mainoo. And a chance for him to maybe cash in the last 10 or 12 minutes. As Mainoo goes off, Mount comes on, a player that Ruben Amorim has said he thinks is a good fit for this system. Mount, who started against Bodo Glimt, and he'll get 11 minutes plus added time to show what he can do in the final stages of this game. Manchester United go short with the free kick, and whilst they do that, let's hear about that other goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Your commentator there, Matt Drabble.
Wilson lifts one in from deep on the right. Picks out Anthony Robinson, back towards Iwobi. To the byline goes Alex Iwobi, looking for red and black shirts. Finds one in the form of Kearney, and Tom Kearney has struck it first time into the bottom right, and Fulham are level.
1-1 in that game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Matt Drabble, your commentator there. Manchester United have the ball on the edge of the area here. Mason Mount chips it in towards Garnacho. Tarkowski gets a foot in. Oh, it's going to fall to Rashford, and he just sort of got beaten by the bounce there. And had he hit that on the half volley, he might have been able to get his hat-trick, but he misjudged it, and now McNeil is going to be able to make the clearance.
He's come onto it too quick. The ball was bouncing. He's running at it far too quick, and he actually beat the ball.
Everton look like they're about to make a final change as well, and Harrison Armstrong will be introduced to the game. You would think that Dwight McNeil might be the player to go off. Harrison Armstrong, only 17 years of age, and I believe this might be his second appearance only. But here come Everton down the right-hand side, and McNeil with an opportunity. He crosses first time, looking for Calvert-Lewin. And Onana will gather. I think a flag's gone up anyway. And Onana's taken a bit of a knock here to the hip or rib area, so that's a little bit of a concern for Manchester United. Just landed awkwardly from the cross. But I think, well, in fact, Patterson on the overlap, who put in the cross, was clearly onside. Either way, though, it was a poor ball in. And when Onana gathered, he got a knock from Calvert-Lewin. He's up on his feet now, and Everton will make that change. Harrison Armstrong, 17-year-old, comes on. It's just his second Premier League appearance.
17?
Doesn't look it, does he?
Wow.
And we are also going to see Jake O'Brien make his way onto the field for James Tarkowski. And there are 8 minutes remaining. TalkSports Premier League Live. 8 minutes to go. Rashford and Xerxes both hoping for a hat-trick. Everton basically just looking for a consolation now. And Dye loses out to Agate. Mount picks it up in central midfield. Back he goes to Shaw. Not the best ball, but Dalot does well originally to wrestle off his man, but then can only guide it out of play. And it will be an Everton throw-in, far right-hand side. Just a reminder again, after this, we've got Liverpool-Man City, 4 o'clock with Tom Rennie leading our coverage. Chris Perry alongside him. 7 minutes remain. Still Chelsea 2, Villa 0. And at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it's 1-1 in the game between Spurs and Fulham. Pickford has it at the back for Everton. He's outside the area. And he feeds it long out to that left-hand side, where Mykolenko will get a glance on. Now Calvert-Lewin picks it up. He's wide by the left-hand corner flag. Infield to Mangala. Now back to Branthwaite, and Dye shrugs off Agate and then is fouled, takes the free kick quickly from the edge of the area out to Patterson on the right hand side. I think that would have been better just to put the brakes on and have a crack at goal.
Or even just when it goes wide, across it early.
In it comes though to Calvert-Lewin, Patterson's cross, and Calvert-Lewin stooped with the header, made decent contact. Onana watches it all the way and gets down. There just wasn't quite enough power on the stooping header.
I mean, to be honest, he didn't make the best of it, really. The best save ball, it goes up here. The ball hits him, he goes down, puts his arm down, his left-hand side, but I don't know if it takes a dodgy bounce, but it hits him in the midriff, and then it goes into his arms.
That was one of the better deliveries from Everton from the right-hand side. It came from Patterson, Calvert-Lewin with the header, saved by Onana. And Manchester United, of course, will want to keep this clean sheet now. Mangala picks it up. He goes backwards to Gay, who's looking for options. Everyone behind the ball for Manchester United. We've only got 5 minutes plus added time to go. Now an opportunity for O'Brien, who feeds it forwards, but then Agate gets in the way. Counter-attack. Garnacho up against O'Brien. Edge of the area, far left-hand side, in towards Xerxes, who will tee it up for Rashford, who tried to kind of just poke it with his right foot and never had the angle or the technique, and it's probably about 10 yards wide in the end.
Certainly was. I mean, it was a decent counter-attack as well, I should say, and the ball goes into Xerxes. He sets it for Rashford, and Rashford have actually run the wrong side, hadn't he? He's tried to hit it across himself on his left foot, and he'd been better trying to take it on his left side.
Certainly would. Can't blame him at 4-0 though for having a crack there, trying to get the hat-trick. Xerxes again was unselfish. And now there's a bit of concern as Amad Diallo is down on the ground and he's just kind of holding that left knee area. It's probably just cramp. And that will give everyone a bit of a respite as Ruben Amorim, calm as you like, on the touchline. He knows his side are going to take all 3 points. It's Manchester United 4, Everton 0. It's still Chelsea 2, Villa 0. And it is 1-1 in the game between Spurs and Fulham. And it is a red card in that game, I can tell you, to Tom Kearney. So Tottenham will have between 5 and 10 minutes to try and get a winner against 10-man Fulham. And that's a game that, if they're to keep pace in this race for Champions League football, they'll want to win. As we said in the build-up to the game, it's just hit and miss with Tottenham, isn't it, Paul? Beat Man City, lose to Ipswich. Now they're drawing with Fulham at home. Can't kind of have that inconsistent run, even if it is easy on the eye, if you're going to be a Champions League contender.
No, that's exactly right. They do need that little bit more. They need to be winning the games they're expected to win. That's when people come out and say that, you know, that you are a decent side and you are doing things the right way. It's all well and good winning the big ones.
There has been another goal in the game between Tottenham and Fulham. We'll be there shortly. And there's been another goal in the game at Stamford Bridge too, and we will bring you that as well. Here though at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 4, Everton 0. And Garnacho has it on the far left-hand side. He checks his run, he's up against Patterson. Back he goes to Xerxes. And all the way back to Luke Shaw. Can tell you the goal in the game at Stamford Bridge is Cole Palmer. And we will hear about that one in a moment. And it is an absolutely fantastic strike by Palmer. And Rich Wolfenden will bring you the details of that in just a moment. And we will be to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as well, where there has been a third goal in that game too. Manchester United 4, Everton 0 here though at Old Trafford. And Cole Palmer is Chelsea's fastest player to 30 Premier League goals in 46 games. The only one that's got there faster in the whole club's history is Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Here though we're winding down and Manchester United are going to get all 3 points. Chelsea also are going to beat Villa. They're winning 3-0 in that game. And like I say, there's been another goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And we will be there very shortly indeed. Overall thoughts on this one, Paul Parker?
To go and score 4 goals at Old Trafford, they've done great, to be perfectly honest, especially against Everton, who don't generally get beat by this scoreline. Teams generally have to fight, and they've gone and scored 4 goals, and might be seemed a little bit flattering, but they've been clinical, especially the last 2 goals, I would say. But it hasn't been great, but it's 3 important points that takes them into a better position.
Harrison, not a bad ball along the ground with the outside of his boot, looking for Ndiaye. Martinez was there though to slide in and able to guide the ball back to Onana, who can pick it up because it wasn't a pass back. And 90 minutes are now up on the clock, and it's Manchester United 4, Everton 0 on Premier League Live. Ben Jacobs and Paul Parker with you. Short ball out to Martinez, who goes back to Onana, and we wait for the board. You wouldn't have thought they'll be too long.
Can't be.
4 minutes. You're a psychic, Paul Parker. And it will be 4 minutes that Manchester United can guide the game out with without overexerting themselves. Maybe there'll be one more chance for Xerxes or for Rashford to get a hat-trick. 30 seconds gone. It's worrying for Everton because Manchester United haven't had to be anywhere near their best to win this game comfortably. We'll try and bring you that goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium before we close and find out whether Tottenham have been able to get themselves ahead. It's 1-1 in that game. I think the goal's being VAR checked anyway, so it may not even stand. 1-1 as it stands, and the goal doesn't count, so it actually has been chalked off there. So still 1-1 in the game between Spurs and 10-man Fulham. Manchester United have it on the right-hand side through Rashford. Back he goes to Martinez. Infield to Mount, who hasn't made a huge impact in that centre of the park. And now Maguire and Manchester United are just letting the time tick away. 90 seconds of the 4 minutes have gone. Chelsea 3, Villa 0. And 1-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Spurs try and get a late winner against 10-man Fulham. Luke Shaw has the ball for Manchester United. Infield to Mason Mount. He's got a bit of space to run. Can Manchester United get a 5th goal here? Short ball to Garnacho. Rashford and Xerxes in the box. Garnacho to Diallo, who's recovered from cramp. Ugarte on the edge of the area. He's 30 yards out. Mason Mount out to the left-hand side. Shaw. Mount again. 2 minutes remain. Ugarte. And now Lisandro Martinez switches the play to the right-hand side. Amad Diallo just on the edge of the area. Cuts inside. Left foot. Making space to shoot. He's surely been pulled down there by Decore. No penalty given. And Everton come away with it. And VAR will have a look. And Everton bring the ball into the Manchester United half. I thought that was a penalty.
I thought it was. I mean, I just thought, why go and do all that work to throw yourself on the floor so easily?
And if it's not a penalty, it's a booking.
Yeah. But they don't seem to do that though, Ben. It doesn't work that way, that rule.
McNeil has it for Everton. VAR, we will confirm if they've checked it or not. I mean, it's irrelevant to the scoreline, but it might give Xerxes or Rashford the opportunity for a hat-trick as Shaw collides with Decore and the ball ricochets to Martinez and now back to Onana. We've got a minute left. VAR have cleared the penalty. So there wasn't enough contact, but then you think Amad's just chucked himself to the ground when he could have got a shot away. We'll go live to Spurs Fulham straight at half-time and see whether Tottenham against 10-man Fulham can get a winner. 30 seconds here though, Paul Parker. Give us your final thoughts and your man of the match.
Well, I'm going to have to go with I'm going to go and give it to Xerxes just for the fact he's come in and he needed a goal and he got 2 goals in the end, and hopefully this will take him on to better things at Manchester United. As a game, it's a game where United were expected to win. People were looking for them to win. There was no guarantee, but the scoreline will go and will show that it was comprehensive.
And there is the full-time whistle. It is a first Premier League win for Ruben Amorim. 2 goals for Xerxes, 2 goals for Rashford. We'll have more on this game in a moment, and my thanks to Paul Parker as well. But let's go straight to Matt Drabble, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, final stages, where it is Tottenham 1, Fulham 1.
Pedro Porro, back heel to Brennan Johnson. Still they work it out to that right flank. Still there's nowhere really to go with 3 red and black shirts back defending. Bergvall. Archie Gray in the middle to Udogie. Son waits out wide on the left flank, eventually makes its way over to Heung-min Son. Kulusevski dangles his foot over the ball, tempting Harry Wilson to try and make a challenge. 20 yards out, Son collects it on his right. Bissouma, Udogie left flank. Still no one pulling the trigger on the cross. Maybe Heung-min Son can come up with something. He'll run at Harry Wilson, takes him into the penalty area. Son lifted into the middle, Leno's there again. Judged the flight of the ball well, but wasn't made to work too hard for it. And an exasperated sigh from Heung-min Son, who gasped his eyes skyward. Chipped it straight into the arms of Bernd Leno. Spurs readying another sub. 3 minutes of stoppage time left to play. Long from Leno, Muniz wins another header for Fulham, and another. The away crowd like that. Sessegnon back towards Muniz. He's holding it up for Fulham so well. He's scrapping for every loose ball. And Fulham have it forward, but Robertson's given it away. That could prove costly. Kulusevski racing up the right, willing Spurs forward, but running into the recovery of Anthony Robertson, who sprinted back to claim it, and Bissouma's handballed it. And Fulham have a huge let-off there, with Spurs pressing them backwards. Bissouma controls with his arm, and all of a sudden Fulham can bleed some time off the clock and take a free kick in the middle. And there will be a substitute for Spurs and a Premier League debut. Archie Gray, just after coming on, is being subbed himself because he's pulled up with injury, and there's a Premier League debut for Will Lancashire, number 42 for Tottenham Hotspur. So Archie Gray has come on and then off again, and Will Lancashire's on in his place. Long ball forward from Leno is missed by everyone but Dragusin, who rolls it up the line to Brennan Johnson. Kulusevski raiding forward, looking for space, running into a brilliantly timed slide challenge from Harry Wilson, and Wilson wins a throw off Pedro Porro. He has had a real injection of pace and life into this game, Wilson. There's been some grumblings of discontent perhaps from Harry Wilson that he hasn't had too many opportunities from the start. You would have thought he would have earned them for that double against Brentford late on, and certainly his performance today won't have hurt his cause. 1 more minute for Fulham to hold out, the 10 men of Fulham. Robinson, it's down the line, it's helped back on by Wilson, but straight out of play. Pedro Porro will have a throw, 15 yards from his own corner flag in a right-back position. Into the middle for Davies, roared on,